righty, welcome everybody to this sixth episode of Doug's Dugout. Doug, welcome back.
Glad to be back, Danny. How's it going?
Pretty good. You've been on the show multiple times this week. You're
Don't
good.
mind it one bit.
You're gonna win an Academy Award. Pretty soon, you're gonna be as on or as much as Leo Laporte is.
Leo's the pro. There's no question about that.
I know, I know.
As Malcolm Gladwell would say, in order to be good at something, you have to do it 10,000 times.
That's true. Anyway, so it's all about baseball, and we're getting close here to the World Series. So talk to us. What happened this week?
Well, let's throw up our brackets up there.
All right, give
We
me a
can get right
second
into
here. Yep.
Okay.
Let me get to the screen here. All righty, we've got our screen. There we go. Sometimes this little graphic. There we go.
Okay. Okay, so let's get right into it. Let's start out with the junior circuit,
Yeah.
which is the American League. Okay. The Yankees and the Astros advanced into the ALCS
All right.
American League Championship Series.
All right.
Okay, and the Yankees are not looking very good at all.
Yeah.
The only person that's the Houston leads the series by 2-0. Okay,
Yeah.
the Astros have an awesome team. They have probably the best pitcher in baseball right now. Verlander, first round Hall of Famer when he does retire. I can't say enough for Verlander. Very good pitcher. They've got a good young shortstop named Jeremy Pena, and they have all the other good players on the team. And they're playing in they're playing in Houston at Minute Maid Park. Okay?
Oh wow.
So yeah, so it looks like it's going to swing to the Astros. The Yankees, as predicted by me, is that they're not playing up their potential. The only one that is playing decent is an old Cardinal from last year that got traded at the trade deadline for Jordan Montgomery, Harrison Bader, fan favorite. He's hit like 4 homers in the championship series and plays an awesome center field.
How
Aaron
many
Judge
games?
I think he's hit.
Go ahead. Sorry about that.
Yeah, Aaron Judge hit maybe 2 homers the whole series, and I think his batting average. He's not his series. He's not having a bad series, but all the other Yankees are not having a good series. They're way below the Mendoza line on their average. Fan favorite Matt Carpenter from the Cardinals, that Yankees signed last year or this summer to a minor league contract, and he hit 15 homers in about 46 games or something like that. And then in late August, he fouled the ball off his foot, and now he's back playing for the Yankees, but he's not. His timing's way off, and he's been up 5 times and struck out 5 times.
Wow.
Okay, so I can remember when he played for the Cardinals when he first came up, that it would take him for the whole year. He would only foul out maybe, I don't know, 400 bats, maybe 50 times a year, something like that. So his timing is way off. I don't know if he's going to make it or not, but they need a left fielder because their left fielder, Aaron Hicks, he went down with a knee injury. He's out for the rest of the year. So pitching for the Yankees, not so great.
Yeah.
It's been okay, but not the fantastic. So I'm sticking with the Astros, and I think the Astros will beat the Yankees in 4 games.
Uh-huh.
Okay. and they'll be and the Astros will be going to the World Series.
So you're saying this is a 4 out of 7 game?
4 out of 7. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So
Yeah.
if the Astros win tonight, that would be 3. And of course, the next game, would that be a home game or would that be a away game for
No,
Houston?
it'll be a away game. They'll go back to New York. See, Sunday will be a travel day for them, and so they'll probably play Monday night in New York.
Okay. All right.
Monday, Tuesday, and probably Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday if needed,
Okay.
or Monday or Tuesday if needed.
Yeah.
The Minute Maid Park is a dome stadium. They've been having the roof open,
Uh-huh.
which is kind of weird, but um, but I guess Major League Baseball decides that if the roof should be closed or open.
Oh,
So
really?
evidently it came down from yeah, yeah. Now there's a stipulation on the contract with Minute Maid Park with MLB since it's a publicly funded stadium, the deal was that in order to get public funding, whenever possible, they had to keep the roof open.
Okay.
Okay, something new
I
green deals kind of stuff. Okay.
I thought they just decided based on the conditions of the weather. I had no idea there was more to it than that.
Yeah, well, when possible.
Yeah.
This is a publicly funded stadium,
Yeah.
and so it's been open. The weather's been pretty decent,
Yeah.
but who knows? But the stadium, Minute Maid Park is definitely an advantage for the Astros,
Yeah.
more ways than one. When
Well,
they go back to New York, they've had a couple of rainouts already in New York with Cleveland.
yeah.
Okay.
Well,
And
the Astros may freeze their little butts when they go up there.
yeah, they might. They just might do that. Yeah.
It
But
may not be an
Yankee
easy
Stadium,
sweep if it's too cold.
yeah,
Uh,
Yankee Stadium in late October, pretty cold.
have you ever
Pretty
been to a
humorous
game when
thing.
it was cold? Have you ever been to a game when it was cold?
Yeah, I did. Dave and I went to a game in St. Louis when Taylor graduated from college in right before the pandemic, 2019. It was April the 17th, and it was 50 degrees,
Wow.
and we froze our butts off.
Wow.
Because the wind, we thought it'd warm up. It never did warm up. It stayed around 52, 53. And, us coming from the valley, we really didn't have any warm clothes. I think I had a hoodie and she had a jacket on, and that was about it. And
Wow.
man, we froze to death. But she said she liked it because she gets to snuggle.
Wow.
Yeah.
I Well, me being from the valley, I don't like anything under 70. I consider anything under 70
Yeah.
cold.
I'm getting to be that too now,
You know.
and she likes it cold inside the house, and I like it hot in the house, and she's always accusing me of being in a nursing home, because because we keep the air at 78, and when she leaves, I crank it up to about 82 in here.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and yeah, you get so you're so damn old, you're getting in a nursing home. You have to wear a blanket all the time.
Well, she probably doesn't mind the coldness because she's usually baking, so that kind of warms up the area where she's working on stuff.
Yeah, well, she gets, I always accuse her of making the house hot as the hottest part of the day.
Yeah.
At 2 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, it gets pretty hot here in the projects, and she's always cooking cookies or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about the other side.
Okay, in the National League, okay, the Phillies beat Atlanta. They're out of it. That was a shock.
Yeah.
But we kind of we kind of said last week that I mentioned that the Phillies, they beat the Cardinals in 2 games, so they're hot. and they've
Yeah.
got two good pitchers. This kid named Nola, and then Zach Weaver. I think his name's Zach. Yeah, Zach Weaver. And they handed Atlanta bats went cold, and so they're hot. And
Yeah.
then San Diego went on, and so now it's the N the NLCS, the National League Championship Series.
Yeah.
It's between the Phillies and the San Diego, and Phillies have got a game lead. The series is at 2-1,
So your
and so
prediction on that side?
I'm going to go with the Phillies.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think they're just hot. I think they got everybody hitting. They got everybody hitting, and these short series, they really only need two pitchers
Yeah.
because of the short series and the off days. And the pitchers, they could probably get by on 2 or 3 game rest because
Right.
they got a chance to rest all season, right? Off season, right? So they really don't need a full 4 days or 5 days or whatever it is. And so I think they'll go with a two pitcher rotation, and maybe if they have to, they'll probably use a starting pitcher by committee. Have a relief pitcher pitch a couple innings and then bring another one in on that. But the Phillies relief corps is very good. They got this kid named Alvarado. That's he throws like 101 miles an hour with movement, and he's a left-hander on top of that. And they got this other kid named I love this name, Sir Anthony Dominguez.
Yeah.
And I've never heard of that name before, Sir Anthony, but I had to look it up, and that's his name.
Now,
And
were you surprised by those losses between the Braves and the Dodgers against those teams? I mean, I think you had mentioned you were
yeah,
kind of thinking that LA was going to be tough for San Diego to overcome, and you thought, I think you mentioned the
yeah,
Braves.
the Dodgers, the Dodgers won 111 games last year, 111 games,
Yeah.
and San Diego, I think San Diego was like 20 games out of first place, and they got in as a wild card.
Yeah.
And of course, so we've talked about the big trade. All the trades they made at the trading deadline in July. They picked up Sosa and Josh Bell and Josh Hader. Hader came on, the relief pitcher. He came on. He got knocked around for the first 6 weeks or so, and then he settled down. Now he's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So he when he was with Milwaukee, he was considered the best relief pitcher in baseball, or one of the best. And he's pitching good. And Soda and even Josh Bell are both hitting well. San Diego's got a good team. They're finally playing up their potential.
Mm-hmm.
They've got Manny Machado that's having a most valuable. He's probably in line for the MVP along with Paul Goldschmidt with the Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Sosa, and then you've got Profar, and then you've got some other ball players on that team that are playing very well. So, it's a possibility, but I think the Phillies has got just too much going for them. And now, since they're going to be going back they're in Philly now, it's going to be tough to San Diego to recover.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because they're a West Coast team. The weather's going to, it's cold in Philadelphia, and the fans in Philly, I mean, how the fans of Philly, how they can be, they booed Santa Claus. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
A football game. There was a football game about 10 or 15 years ago where Santa Claus came out on the field, and on a Philadelphia Eagles game.
Yeah.
And they actually threw batteries at him.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
yeah.
didn't they also
So that's.
boo Jill Biden a couple of days ago?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, I
They
could
go.
understand. I could understand if it was, the big man
Let's go,
himself.
Brandon.
But
Let's go, Brandon.
let's leave the wives out of it.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
were
yeah.
you surprised by the Guardians' loss to the Yankees on the other side?
Yeah, because what happened was is that I don't know if you know this or not, but there was a Cleveland ball player, and the name escapes me, but he hit a home run and he did the rockabye baby deal
Yeah.
when he was around the bases, and it kind of made the Yankees mad, and it made the Yankees fans even madder. So when they went back to New York, there was the fans came in the ballpark. They all had a baby doll with
Oh
them.
my gosh.
Yeah, and when the Yankees did something, they would rock the baby like this, and so it was a pretty awesome scene. They got on top of Cleveland big time.
Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
Cleveland's probably, in all fairness to Cleveland, I mean, they just came out of nowhere. I mean, they wasn't expected to, they wouldn't even pick to win the division. Everybody kind of picked either Minnesota or the White Sox.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so they've had a good year. They got a good young ball club, and they'll probably, they'll probably be in it next year.
Yeah. Well, it's
Yeah,
kind of hard, like you say, still trying to digest that name. I would have preferred them keeping the Indians. I thought that was still a pretty neutral name. It
I
wasn't
thought it
like
was too.
Redskins or something like that.
I thought it was too. I mean, the Indians, had been, you go back to the days of Bob Feller and Satchel Paige and stuff has always been the Cleveland Indians, but
Right.
and their mascot has always been, Cleveland Indians mascot was
Yeah.
sort of like the Atlanta Braves, you know, Chief Knock a Homer.
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't think the Braves will ever change their name.
Yeah. Oh, I don't think so. Down in the South, they don't respond to that kind of stuff that quickly.
Well, yeah, especially since, I would never thought that would happen because, Ohio is a red state.
Yeah.
Okay. And of course, so Georgia is, we don't know what Georgia is these days. Is it purple or is it red or
Or pink.
blue or whatever?
Or pink. You can't forget pink these
Or
days.
pink or pink. Yeah. Yeah. We don't
So.
know. But we do know that, the old deal with, they asked Herschel Walker, MSNBC asked him, they said, is there something that you like about what Joe Biden has done? There's one thing that Joe Biden has done that you like.
Yeah.
And Herschel Walker says, well, we both like ice cream.
Oh my gosh. Oh my. Well,
I thought that was pretty funny.
oh my gosh. Well, definitely there's something else you wanted to talk about, and you want to mention what this is here?
Yeah. If you can blow that screen up a little bit, or
Well,
is it
that's where my problem is. I don't think I can blow it up. I can
okay?
just scroll down.
Okay, so yeah, I can talk this through. So there's every year there are the Gold Glove awards are given, and these are the best fielders in baseball.
Okay.
Okay, we have we're getting into the award season after the World Series is over with. We'll have the MVP, we'll have the manager of the year, and the Silver Sluggers. But this is the Gold Gloves awards. So let's just go through some of these names, and I'll tell you a little bit about them.
Alrighty. So
Okay,
we've got
right field.
some finalists
Yeah,
there. Go ahead.
yeah, right field. Jackie Bradley Jr. Plays for Boston. Not much of a hitter, but he's a pretty good fielder. What is that? Max Kepler,
Yeah.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yep. There you are, Kyle Tucker, Houston Astros, right there.
Right.
So my money's on Tucker on that.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Okay. Then the center fielder, we've got what is that?
Cedric Mullins,
Cedric
Baltimore.
Mullins, Baltimore.
Yeah.
Miles Straw, Cleveland, and Michael A. Taylor, Kansas City. I'm going to go with Michael A. Taylor, Kansas City.
Uh-huh.
And I believe he is a rookie this year too.
Yeah.
So it's a couple of the future stars for KC.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Um,
Left field.
Left field. I'm gonna see.
Andrew
Andrew
Benintendi.
Benintendi, Kansas City, New York. The Yankees picked him up
Now, what is that?
at the trade.
What does that mean? KC/NYY.
Yeah, he started the year out with Kansas City,
Ah,
and at the trading in the trading deadline in July, Kansas City traded him to the Yankees, and
okay.
he promptly got hurt.
Okay.
And he promptly got hurt. So,
Oh my.
so I think he's still out. He may be
Yeah.
back now, but he's pretty much. And then Stephen Kwan, we saw him quite a bit in the championship series. He's for Cleveland. I think I believe that he's going to win it.
Okay.
And then the other one is Brandon Marsh. Brandon Marsh looks like Wolfman Jack. He got real long hair, full beard, and he's been around. He's been around for a while. As you can see, they picked him up from the Angels,
Right.
LAA, Los Angeles Angels, and that's a trading deadline.
All right.
Not much of a hitter. He
Yeah.
wasn't doing anything for the Angels, but he's a good fielder.
Yeah. And then you've got third base.
Third base. Yeah, Matt Chapman plays for Toronto. Okay, and then you got Jose Ramirez for Cleveland.
Right.
And then you've got
Ramon Arias for Baltimore.
Mario. I'll go with Matt Chapman for Toronto.
For Toronto. Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like they're saying, yeah. Yeah, it looks like.
Yeah.
And then shortstop.
Stop. Okay. Xavier Bogaerts, Carlos Correa, that used to be an Astro guy.
Yeah.
Okay. He signed a 1-year contract. Yeah. And then he's going to be a free agent this year. And then Jeremy Pena, we mentioned him. He was a young rookie they brought up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Xavier Bogart may be the favorite on that.
Okay.
Because he's from Boston.
Yeah.
But good position.
Now for second base,
Andre is okay.
Gimenez.
Gimenez, yeah.
Yeah.
Cleveland, and
Jonathan Shoup
and
out of Detroit,
and Marcus Simeon. Yeah, Marcus Simeon's interesting to talk about, but he used to be a shortstop, and they moved him over to second base. Played for the Texans. Good fielder. Not much of a hitter. I'm going to go with Simeon on that.
Yeah. And then you've got first base. You've got Luis Arez.
Yeah, for Minnesota. Vladimir Guerrero for Toronto. His son used to his dad used to play third base for the Dodgers.
He must be half Russian. I've never seen a Hispanic guy with a Russian name Vladimir.
Oh yeah, there's lots of it. Yeah, I've heard that before. And Anthony Rizzo, I'm going to go with Anthony Rizzo. He had a long career with the Cubs.
Yeah,
and he's over with the Yankees. He's a slick fielding first baseman.
Yeah. And then for
over in National League.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you've got for catcher.
You got Sean Murphy, Cal Raleigh, and Jose Trevino.
Yeah.
I would say probably Jose Trevino for the Yankees.
Yeah.
I'll go with that.
And then for pitcher, you've got Jose Barrios out of Toronto, Shane Bieber out of Cleveland, and Jameson Taillon out of the Yankees.
I'll go with Bieber for Cleveland.
Yeah. No relation to Justin Bieber?
No relation. Every time I see him pitch, I think of Justin Bieber too. Okay, this is a interesting classification. This is utility. This is the first or second year that they've offered this. This is a utility player is a player that can play several positions. Okay.
Kind of like wasn't it Bo Jackson or who was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's an important position because it gives the manager the flexibility to move players around, and especially when they do a double switch.
Yeah.
Okay, you can bring a pitcher in, and then you can put this other guy out in left field or right field or whatever, and then take that pitcher out, and then you put him on first base. So it gives him a lot of flexibility. So
Yeah.
DJ LeMahieu, any other year he would be the man, but he's
Yeah.
been hurt most of the year for the Yankees. What Merrifield? Yeah.
Yeah. Whit Merrifield.
May have, yeah.
Kansas City.
They traded Kansas City.
Toronto.
Kansas City traded to Toronto. I'll have to go with Luis. I'll go with Whit. Was it Mayfield?
Yeah, Merrifield.
Yeah, Mayfield. Yeah, I'll go with him.
Yeah. And then the National League.
Now National League.
Right
field. Mookie Betts. Yeah, Mookie Betts, Juan Soto, and was it Dalton Varsho?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go with Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts is one heck of a fielder.
Yeah.
One heck of a hitter too. So I think Mookie Betts would be the guy on that.
And then center
he usually
field.
Wins it every year. Okay, it would be
Trent Grisham.
What is it? Grisham.
Yep.
Victor Robles and
Alec Thomas.
Yeah. I'll have to go with Grissom on that one, San Diego.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you've got left field. Ian
Happ. Yeah, it's kind of a surprising there, Ian Happ. Ian Happ plays for the Cubs. He's usually like a utility ball player. He plays right field, first base, and all that. David Peralta and Christian Yelich. I'm going to go with. I think I'll go with Yelich on that.
Yeah.
Yelich was a couple years ago. He was probably the best player in baseball as a hitter and a fielder. His hittings fell off quite a bit, but he still can field pretty good. I've seen him play quite a bit. So, yeah, he plays a pretty good left field.
Yeah. And then you got third base.
He looks like Pete Davidson from SNL.
And then you got third base here.
Well, there's no question of my mind. Nolan Arenado for the Cardinals.
Yeah.
I've seen some stuff that he's done this year was unbelievable. Game after game after game after game, play after play after play. He plays a really good third base, and he's a perennial Gold Glove third baseman. I think he's won like 9 gloves in a row.
Yeah.
And now this kid named K. Brian Hayes, he's a rookie for Pittsburgh. Him being in the Cardinals division, I saw him play quite a bit. He's going to be a superstar. I think he keeps his head screwed on straight. I think he's only like 21 or 22. Wow. And I think he's going to be a good ball player.
Yeah.
And then Ryan, what's that guy?
Ryan McMahon.
Decent ball player, but not in the class of Arenado.
Yeah. And then you've got shortstop here. You got Hai-Sung Kim for San Diego, Miguel Rojas for Miami, and Dansby Swanson for Atlanta.
Yeah, Dansby Swanson, I think was hurt most of the year. And I'm going to go with the San Diego guy,
Kim. Yeah.
Yeah, he's in the playoffs. I've been impressed with him.
Yeah. And for second base, you've got Jake Cronenworth out of San Diego, Tommy Edman out of your Cardinals in St. Louis, and Brendan Rodgers out of Colorado.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Brendan. I'm going to go with Tommy Edman.
Yeah.
Okay. Being a Cardinal. He won it last year for the Cardinals. Cronenworth for San Diego is a pretty good ball player. Probably a little bit better hitter maybe than Tommy Edman.
Yeah.
But we're talking about fielding. But Edman, he played a lot of the year at shortstop because the Cardinal shortstop, DeYoung, couldn't even hit his weight.
Yeah.
He spent most of the year down in the minors. And so what they did is the Cardinals they moved Edman over to shortstop, and they brought up a kid named Donovan up from the farm system in Memphis, and he played second. But Tommy Edman played a lot of second base. But I've seen Tommy Edman make some plays that are unbelievable.
Yeah. And
And I
then
see
for
him on an everyday basis.
first base, you've got Paul Goldschmidt out of your Cardinals, Matt
Yeah.
Olson out of Atlanta, and Christian Walker out of Arizona.
Yeah. The perennial favorite is Paul Goldschmidt. I believe he'll win it again this year. There again, the Cardinals defense is one of the best things they got going for them with Arenado, Edmund, and Goldschmidt. And I've seen Goldie made some plays this year that nobody could make.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how good he is. And so I would have to go with Goldschmidt. Matt Olson from Atlanta, he used to, last year he was with Oakland, and they made him that big trade over the winter. Not a bad first baseman, but and then this other kid, this Christian Walker from Arizona, I think I've seen him play a few times, and I think he's a budding superstar, good fielder, but he's not in the class of Paul Goldschmidt.
And then you've got catcher Travis d'Arnaud out of Atlanta, Tomas Nido out of New York, and then JT Realmuto out of the
Yeah,
Phillies.
Riamato for the Philly. I'm going to go with Riamato on that. Probably the best catcher in baseball right now.
Yeah.
He can hit, and he can also he handles the pitchers very well as a fielder. You see him, with the Phillies being in the playoffs. I've seen him quite a bit this year, and I like the way he handles the pitchers. And just like one of the broadcasters said the other night, is that Riamato must have went to the Molina School of Catching. Yeah, paying homage for the famous Molina brothers, especially
Yeah.
Yachty that played for the Cardinals.
Yeah. And then for pitcher, you've got Tyler Anderson out of LA. You've got Corbin Burns, and I don't know who MIL is. Who's MIL done?
Max Fried.
No, Max Fried's out of Atlanta, but Corbin Burns, it says MIL.
He's out of Milwaukee.
Milwaukee.
Yeah, he's a Carmen. Yeah, Carmen Burns. Yeah, Carmen Burns won the Cy Young last year.
Uh-huh.
Seen him quite a bit. A pretty good fielder.
Yeah.
I think Max Fried is only a rookie or a second year guy. I'm going to go with Corbin Burns on that. I think he's done a good job.
Yeah. And then the last category, oh my gosh, your cards are dominating there. It's Brendan Donovan, Tommy Edman, and of course Dalton Varsho out of Arizona.
Yeah, I'll have to go with if it would be really odd if Tommy Edman would win the Golden Glove for second base and utility player, right?
Yeah.
But like I said before, with the demise of Paul DeYoung at shortstop for the Cardinals, Edmund got moved over to short, and then this kid named Donovan came out of nowhere, came up from the Memphis Redbirds, and that kid has played all over the place. He's played left field, he's played shortstop, he's played third base, he's played first base, he's played right field, and he's played left field.
Yeah.
And and he can hit, and he reminds us a lot. Me and Diva, he reminds me of Bader.
Yeah.
They used to play center field for the Cardinals, playing for the Yankees now, because he's got long, wavy hair,
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with Donovan. I think Donovan's has earned that this year, even though Tommy Edman might be a good runner up because they moved him around so much.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely getting exciting. I mean, it's down to the Yankees and the Astros, and down to the Phillies and the Charger. I mean, sorry, the Padres. I'm about to say the Chargers for football. Oh my gosh, where's my mind? But your predictions are that it's going to be an Astros versus the Phillies.
I think so. Like I said, these short series like this, Astros have got some good depth. The Yankees, I don't think they're going to cut it. They just don't have. They spent all the money, and for ball players, but they're not performing. You
So you
know,
want to do a
not like except
prediction for
Aaron
the
Judge.
final? You think Houston's going to take it?
Yeah, I think the Astros are going to take it. I think Houston's going to take it. I think they've got everything lined up. It's kind of revenge back from last year. Okay, with Atlanta. So I think I have I the Astros got a good team.
Yeah.
They have a tendency to fill all the holes. They lost some key players in free agency last year. Carlos Correa, and then there's a center fielder who plays for Toronto. I forget his name.
Yeah.
They lost him, and they just filled those holes.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Well, they managed
so
them to fill them the right way. That's for sure.
and you can't
Yeah.
argue with their pitching staff being led by Verlander. Okay,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Verlander's 39 years old. He just came off of Tommy John surgery, but he's having a banner year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when it comes down to crunch time, just put Verlander. There's two pitchers I would put in there: Wainwright for the Cardinals and Verlander, and I would have to go with Verlander.
Yeah. Yeah. All righty, Doug. Well, that wraps up this week for Doug's Dugout. It'll be exciting this week to see where it all pans out. But we definitely will be back on next Saturday to see where.
Yeah.
Go
Let me
ahead.
tell you a quick story here.
Yeah.
I just remembered one. Is that when I was a young kid living in Cromwell, Illinois, it's about 70 miles north of St. Louis. Okay, every year the Lions Club would make some kind of a deal with the Cardinal organization, and they would take kids down to the Cardinal game for free.
Uh-huh. Oh, wow.
Okay, and they would get all these school. They got the school district to donate the school buses, and everything, and we would take maybe 7 or 8 buses
Uh-huh.
down to the Cardinals game, and they didn't put us in the bleachers, but they put us in general admission tickets, okay?
Right.
And we started out with the old stadium, the old Bush Stadium on Sportsman's Park, and then eventually we went to Bush Stadium number 2.
Yeah.
And I could remember I went every year, and then the local merchants there would give the kids a box lunch. Box lunches were big back then.
Right.
And we would go in the bus, and they had to have these yellow school buses all lined up with kids from Cromwell, Illinois, and they would go down, and the Cardinals would entertain them at the general admissions, and we'd fill up a whole section.
Yeah.
Okay. And I did that ever since I was old enough. Wow, from like 7 or 8 years old all the way up to until I was like 15 or 16.
Yeah. Wow.
Big shout out to the Carnival's Lions Club. For a little town of 5,000 people, they also put on like a maker fair every year. They've been doing that for 100 years, and they have dunk the teacher, dunk tank, and then they have a queen a queen Lions Carnival, and they got this little stuff that goes around the square in a jalopy, and then they got a old horse with a bunch of saddles on it that they try to buck you off, and
Yeah.
just all kinds of crazy stuff. And then with the proceeds of that, they give it to victims of glaucoma,
Oh,
mostly children.
yes. Because the Lions Club is really into eyeglasses and helping
Yeah.
those with eyesight problems. Yeah.
And they're still doing it. They're still doing it in Cronenville. I don't know if they're taking the kids down to Busch Stadium every year, but
Yeah.
I can remember as a kid growing up, that was a big deal, because we get on the school buses, and if you can imagine the little yellow school buses is like taking a bus in Matamoros, those little buses in Matamoros,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we didn't care, we were kids, and
Right.
and the buses were going maybe 50 miles an hour, 40,
Yeah.
whatever.
There's
we
no
didn't care,
seatbelts on those buses back then.
Back then, no, this is back in the late 60s or mid 60s.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is like the mid '60s, and
Yeah.
there was no seat buses and stuff, no seat belts and stuff, and
No
we had a
helicopter
good time.
moms chasing after the buses like the helicopter moms do today.
No Karens around, okay? Okay, no Karens or Gabriellas around to
That's
do that,
true.
and they have chaperone, they have the lions themselves, they would volunteer to keep an eye on the kids and you
Yeah.
know and all that kind of stuff, and they'd be other, because they got to see the game too free, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that was really a big deal every year in
Yeah.
Carlinville, Illinois. Yeah,
Well, that was
yeah,
cool. They definitely are a great organization. I know a few of them. So,
yeah.
alrighty, Doug. Well, that's it for this week. We'll be back next Saturday to see where it all lands. So,
It should be getting close to the World Series by next Saturday. We should have a pretty clear picture by then.
yep, we should. We should. Alrighty, Doug. Well, that's it,
Okay, Dan.
everybody. That's it for this
So
week.
long.
We'll see you all. Have a good weekend.
Okay. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.